Anti-heroes. That is what we are going to be talking about today, okay? And I'm going to be real here. I think I got raids baited into making this video. I really do. I really do believe I got raids baited. There was two takes that I heard in quick success, and one of those from my fan base, and one of those from another fan base. Okay? The one from the other fan base was saying Daredevil is my favorite anti-hero. I'm sorry, bro. If you think Daredevil is an anti-hero, I don't think you know what anti-hero means. Like, understand, Punisher is on the line between, like, superhero and anti-hero, and I'll be real here, every single incarnation that we've gotten of the Punisher in, like, TV, that guy is basically a superhero, okay? And here's the other take from my fan base. Red Hood is horrifically overrated as an anti-hero, and I'm gonna go over, I'm gonna try to play devil's advocate for you. But I'm sorry, bro, probably not. I'm probably not gonna agree with you, and that got me thinking. If I'm going through the entirety of anti-heroes, and if I'm going to describe an anti-hero for you, to put it blankly, it is a character that is either villainistic in their approach to doing things, but does good things, or a hero that does bad things. It is one of those. It is either a villain that does some good things, or a hero that does bad things or does good things for bad reasons. That's effectively how I look at it. Like, for example, to list off some characters that I would actually say are anti-heroes by a large portion of people that understand the meaning, I would probably say characters like Walter White, Eren Yeager, John Wick, and even like Guts from Berserk. I would actually put in like that anti-hero type of frame, okay? Good characters or bad characters that do good or bad things, and they're in this morally gray thing. And I thought to myself, why not do my thing? I'm going to be ranking anti-heroes on how justified I think they are as a character, okay? That is going to be the video. If that sounds interesting, you please consider like, comment, and subscribe. We're trying to get to 250,000 subscribers before the end of the year. We are on track to do it because of the support of you guys. And if we can hit that, let's try to hit 500,000 subscribers before the release of GTA 6. That is the goal. And with all that out of the way, let's get into what anti-heroes do I believe are the most and least justified. Let's go. Deadpool! Okay, when we're looking at Deadpool, it's very simple as this. Deadpool's trying to get a bag, okay? Yes, Deadpool can be motivated by other means, such as revenge or basically love, or bro has a case of the horny. It's one of those. That is essentially the motivations of Deadpool here. And understand this. I can get it to a certain point. The fact is, bro, if I'm Deadpool and I actively have the ability of knowing, and this is where it kind of gets confusing. Burp. One more. No more. Okay. Deadpool has the power to break the fourth wall. Now, in universe, this could be, hey, oh, bro's schizophrenic. If I pretend to, like, see the fourth wall, which actually kind of makes sense now because I know your guys are watching this, put down that remote. You're watching me, big boy. That's me breaking the fourth wall for you. But no, Deadpool can either be schizophrenic in universe, or he actually has the power to know what the writers are doing, which in some incarnations he does, and that would make me lose all, like, motivation to do anything good or evil. I'm just going to do what I want, because the entirety of my universe has already been preordained or being picked out by a 35-year-old that's probably named Randy. Okay, like that's the sad truth of me being Deadpool in this universe. If I'm in that scenario, and the only thing that I can really control is my day-to-day habits, and even that's 50-50, then I would probably be very similar to Deadpool. I would probably care a lot less if I'm being frank with you. Another burp? Bro, what did I eat? But when I'm looking at Deadpool, the fact is, bro, I can understand. Now, he does some things that I'm ultimately like, okay, you didn't have to do that. No, that was just evil. But the problem is in modern media, especially when you're going off TV shows, Deadpool is just a hero. Like, I'm sorry, he just is. Like, they don't want to do any type of morally gray aspect to him. Now, if I'm going to take the entirety of him, I'm putting Deadpool in, like, I get it to a too far. Like everything that he does that is like a hero's journey, he's doing it for his own self-interest and not really out of him being selfless. But the bad stuff that he does is in his self-interest that can go too far. I get it. When I'm looking at Deadpool, I get why he does what he does, but at the same time, bro, I'll put it and I get it. Eren Yeager from Attack on Titan. Okay. Where do I begin on this, okay? When I'm looking at Eren Yeager, the fact is, bro, I understand why he did what he did, but the problem is even in universe, it's stated kind of as like, well, you didn't have to do that. You didn't have to do that. Eren is basically an emotional, like, kid that is still stuck in the frame of mind of losing his parents, even though he was the one that caused the death of his parents. And then you realize he did all of that. He set all of these events in motion, not caring of all the people that he's hurt in the process, all to secure a better future for his friends, not the people in the later generations, because what he ended up doing was more or less kind of keeping away the eventual reality of all the people of Parody were either going to get wiped out or basically sent back to the Stone Age, which is what the final scene of Attack on Titan is. When you look at it through that lens, Eren Yeager's last little bit of like rebellion, or like his last like desperate attempt to keep off what was already destined to happen, that being the death of all the people around him, is nothing more than like a desperate cry for help, because he realizes that there's not much that he can do by himself. He's not going to live a long life. He's not going to live to see the end of his friend's life anyways. Why not his last like stits of like, I don't even know what the word would be. His last effort to save his friends is him causing the tragedy that he alone will be blamed for. He wanted his friends to go against him because they can be viewed as the heroes of Parody. If your entire island, your people are viewed as demons, why not become the demons that they think you are? Okay? I heard this, I think it was in like the Devil May Cry anime. And I'm going to be real here. The reason I'm using it is it fits so well with Eren Yeager. And that is, sometimes you are forced to adopt the tactics that were used upon you to defeat an enemy that was willing to do worse. And when I'm looking at Eren Yeager, him instituting the the rumbling, he understands the untold death that it is going to cause. And he made enemies with his childhood friends, Mikasa and Armin, all for them to eventually stop him so they can be viewed as the heroes of Parody. Okay, I will be the villain. I will be the one that gets blamed for the generations, because ultimately I'm not going to live long enough to really protect you guys or like remember what's going to happen. I will become the villain for everybody here. All my friends have to do is get rid of me and they can live a normal life. And I like that. I do. The problem is, it is it's one, like, I wouldn't say he's a villain in terms of like he's doing this because he's evil. But at bare minimum, it's too far. Literally, I could argue way too far, if I'm being honest. If I'm looking at everybody on this list, I'm going to put it in way too far, if I'm going to be real here. Way too far, I think that's a fair take. Is he a villain? I wouldn't say he's a villain, purely because the motives that he's doing this is so clearly out of desperation that there's no real other option in his mind. And I'm going to put it in way too far because of it. Red Hood, Jason Todd, all the other names you want to give him. Okay. To wrap it back to that one comment from my own fan base, Red Hood is very overrated as an anti-hero. The only way that I can understand your take is the fact that you don't actually rate him as an anti-hero and you say he's more of a hero. Because I'm sorry here, hot take, Red Hood did almost nothing wrong. Literally almost nothing wrong. The plot itself had to portray what Jason Todd was doing in the most negative light possible. Because I'm sorry here, dude, hot take, there is nothing that Jason Todd does outside of a very short few things. Get out of here. I just murked a fly. Nothing that Jason Todd does that the Punisher, it would not be perfectly normal for him to do it. I'm sorry here, bro. I view Jason Todd or Red Hood in the same light that I view the Punisher. The fact is, bro, is maybe it's because Batman's like no murking rule is so unlogical. It's so illogical in comparison to like the universe that he's in, that it's like Superman doesn't want to kill anybody because he effectively knows the amount of effort it takes to ice somebody is the same amount of effort it would take to subdue them. And it's better for optics or everything, even in his own moral like compass, to detain them or subdue them than it is to murk them. When I'm looking at Red Hood, okay? When I'm looking at Red Hood, everybody that he murked was somebody that I was like, yeah. I mean, like, obviously, dude. Yeah, bro, like, but, like, are you kidding me? Black Mask? That's even a quest. Joker? And, dude, even in there, he actively tells Batman, I'm not telling you to murk this guy, murk that guy. I'm not telling you to do that. Just him. Just the Joker. And you have any level of... dude, I would crash out, too. He was in my Justified Kratos. He's gonna be in my, like, Justified Anti-Hero. Dude, I'm sorry. Red Hood literally dude, I'm sorry. Completely and utterly justified. I'm sorry. Even the stuff that he does that's a little bit, like, over, like, a little bit overboard. You can argue, yeah, bro, he got resurrected. His mind is admittedly pretty broken. I'm putting Red Hood in Justified. Literally, dude. Red Hood is the villain. Not the villain. The hero that Gotham needs. Batman. Dude. This is close Arkham Asylum. Murk the Joker. If your justification is, well, if I murk the Joker, then I can't stop, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard, you have a problem then. Then Batman has the problem. And if that's the case, that's the case. But I'm sorry here. Jason Todd's 100% justified. 100% justified. Like, yeah, I'm sorry. You gotta put him there. Justified, put him there. The Punisher, in the same type of thinking. I'm sorry here, dude. The Punisher, like... when we're looking at the Punisher, everything that he is doing, especially like after what happened with his family, like, you know what I think it is? Do you know what I think it is? I think it's like the new definition of anti-hero. It's like, oh yeah, he's a hero that murks his villains. And I'm over here like, do you know how that started? The no murking rule started because comic book companies needed a villain of the week, and they found out that if you like get rid of your villain every other week, it actually makes it pretty expensive to hire character designers to make another villain, so they can do reprints of the same villain. This is where it's going to be really funny to me. If you get your semblance of, like, morality from comic book characters and you think the no murking rule is actually something that you should be taking seriously, I just wanted to let you know your moral compass is influenced by a fucking corporation running out of characters. I'm not kidding you. That is your framework for how reality works. I'm sorry here. I've already given my take all the time. If redemption or rehabilitation is not a factor, in such a character like actual, like Ted Bundy, like all these other guys that have been known that there is no way of rehabilitating them. Let's not waste each other's time here. If I can't rehabilitate the Joker, then I'm sorry, we have to put him down. Oh, well, Batman rehabilitated Bane. Okay, did Arkham Asylum do that shit? Did Arkham Asylum do that? No. Brother, it was through the power of fucking plot that happened. I'm sorry here, dude. When I'm looking at the Punisher, it's the same thing, bro. Yeah, no, he'll be a bit brutal, but at the same time, dog, like, if your villains are way more brutal, I'm gonna give you a pass. And I'm giving the Punisher a pass, justified. Even in his own, like, his TV's, I'm sorry, dude. The Punisher inside of the MCU is a hero. He's a superhero. I'm sorry, he just is. This anti-hero argument's so dumb to me because what you do. Oh, here's another one. I'm not even kidding you. I think when they try to figure out who's an anti-hero, they try to figure out which one of them swears. I really do believe that's part of it. Oh, he says a curse word. That's an anti-hero. Get out of here, bro. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Justified, but yeah, he goes a little bit overboard sometimes. John Wick. Yes, John Wick I would actually constitute as an anti-hero. Why? Dude, I'm sorry. We just forgot, like, John Wick murked a lot of innocent people. Like, he just did. Like, I'm not talking about during the movie. I'm talking about before the movie. It is implied heavily that John Wick, no matter who it was, no matter who it was, like man, woman, child, if he was offered the right price, he's taking them out. I'm sorry here. There comes a point where I'm like, okay, John Wick was a villain. Like, we can agree on that. John Wick would have been a villain, okay? Like, he was a villain in the Ballerina movie, but they tried to make him look like, well, he's not that bad, okay? There's some things to get around. Okay. John Wick is the anti-hero for this world because he is a monster that was created by that world, okay? He is a heartless assassin, dude. Yeah, bro, he found a woman that he loved, and she got a dog, and the dog got murked. The reality is, bro, John Wick trying to leave, it's stated multiple times, John Wick trying to leave that life behind him after the literal mountains of bodies he left in his wake is like a flawed thing on John Wick's part because you don't get to end that many lives and continue to live yours. That's the way that I look at it with John Wick. Obviously, from the audience's point of view, we view John Wick in a different light. It's Keanu Reeves, a super likable guy. But the fact is when you're looking at John Wick and all the stuff that he did before, you know, John Wick is literally, like, would be a background villain in any other series, bro. Like, I'm sorry, like, that's the truth if we're looking at John Wick. John Wick, like, in the movies, justified. If we're taking his character in total, brother, no, he went too far. Like, he did go too far. Like, the fact is, bro, like, there's John Wick, he did it for some money. But, like, Deadpool at least is like, I don't like murking kids. John Wick 100% had to murk a child. I'm sorry, he did. I'm put too far. I gotta put him there. In the movies, it's like, oh yeah, he murked his dog and then he took out thousands of people. And it's like, the plot is moving him. He didn't even want to go after them until they went after him again. So the truth is he didn't take out all those people because it was the right thing to do. He took out all those people because they kept coming after him. But before that, he was perfectly okay with them just existing. I'm sorry, too far. I gotta put him there. Light Yagami. I know I talk about Light Yagami a lot, but the truth is, bro, it's like whenever people try to say Light Yagami is actually a super complex anti-hero, and I'm like, yeah, in like the first the first 10 episodes. Brother, I'm sorry, like, Light Yagami comically goes overboard so quickly. I'm sorry. Light Yagami is a villain the moment he tried to take out L. That's just how I view about it. You can't do this moral, panhandling, where you're trying to say that, like, I'm going to bring humanity into a better age, and then, literally, the moment you get the level of power that, like, you think you're in this moral right, you're like, hey, anybody that stands against me is in the wrong. And I'm over here like, no. Brother, no. At the end of the day, brother, no. Like, L, the only thing L did wrong was stand against you, and you saw that as just as bad as any other criminal because he stood against you. You don't believe in laws, you believe in your law. You don't believe in order, you believe in your order. I'm sorry, bro. Like, L puts it best when he describes Light Yagami or Kira as nothing more than a serial killer with a notebook. That's essentially the best way that you can describe, like, Light Yagami. So it's always kind of cringe when people try to phrase it as something, like, other than that. It's like, well, he was an anti-hero. He took out bad people. Yeah, bad people can take out bad people. Open a history book, dog. That's literally how it started. I'm sorry. When I'm looking at Light Yagami, like, the moment he tries to take out L, he's a villain. Like, give me a villain that's a little bit meh on the other side. I'm gonna put Light Yagami and he's, like, just still a villain. He's just still a villain. Guts from Berserk. I talk about the Eclipse. I talk about Griffith. I don't talk about Guts all that much, even though he's like the main character of Berserk. Is he an anti-hero? Yes. I'm sorry if you don't think that. Dude, read right after the Eclipse. Literally right after the Eclipse. Guts does some stuff that would instantly earns him an anti-hero stuff. Dude, imagine this. Imagine this. You're Guts, okay? You're 6'5", absolutely jacked, and you're swinging around a sword that weighs 200 pounds. I know it weighs canonically a little bit more than that, but 200-pound slab of iron. And you are over here murking some demons, some demon acolytes, okay? You're minding your own business. And then you see this demon fairy that is possessing children from a local town, and there is a way to cure them of this demonic affliction. And you walk in there, and you're like, bro, fuck them kids. And you literally murk all of them. Okay, keep in mind, these are possessed children. They can be saved. Guts goes in there. Vroom, vroom, vroom. Done. 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 Brother, call him the clinic the way he's murking these kids, dude. It's absurd. I'm sorry, there's no other way to put it. And then, okay. If you're gonna say, oh, well, Guts wouldn't have known, okay, that first off, Guts did not hesitate in the slightest, dude. Guts did not hesitate in the remote slightest in taking them out. But, like, even in the Black Swordsman arc, literally the first book of Berserk, he tells this girl who lost her mom and lost her dad, okay? Literally been orphaned before his very eyes. And she tells him, I have nothing to live for. Guts just looks at her being like, hey, yo, when you jump, make sure it's off a big enough distance. You don't want to F that up, too. Dog. Now, keep in mind, he also said this is more or less kind of like to give her a motivation, a will to live, because he wanted her to blame him for what happened to her family. But at the same time, bro, what? Bro, what? You didn't have to do all that. You didn't have to do all that. And he, like, frankly, just didn't. He does regret that later on. And then we get into, after the Lost Children's arc, probably one of the more evil things that he does. He tries to, kith Casca. Keep in mind, Casca at this point has been so mentally broken, she basically has the mental faculties of a 5-year-old. She is mentally broken, okay? Unable to, give permission. and Guts tries to kiss her. Yeah, no, bro, no. After all, the reason that he's not considered a villain is because everything that I just named is under the condition that you know what happened in the eclipse. The eclipse was so brutal, it broke Guts mentally, and that is why he's kind of like this. But, I don't want to say I get it, because, Guts goes too far a few times, and the story goes out of its way to tell you he's going too far. But yeah, I'd put Guts in the same, like, no, Guts is also a mercenary. Like, he's murked a lot of people that would be considered fairly innocent. In the second book, he murks a kid. He too far sometimes. Kratos! Yeah, I would constitute Kratos as an anti-hero. Does anyone actually disagree with that? I'm sorry, bro. Kratos in the first 3 games does not care about the wider world around him or how his actions are going to affect the normal person outside of a few, like, key, like little conversations he has. Brother is fully content with getting rid of the gods of Greek just to be like, hey, yo, bro, fuck these guys. Okay? If you're a normal person, you worship them, hey, yo, I'm sorry, bro, you would rather deal with Armageddon. Okay? You can rather deal with Armageddon than work with them. I'm gonna get rid of them, and then I'm gonna skadoo some out of here. I'm going to the Norse realm, okay? Yeah, that's essentially what Kratos did. Kratos does a few things for the greater good. I am going to acknowledge that. But at the end of the day, when I'm looking at Kratos, is fully justified crass out. But oh my goodness, bro, was he selfish as shit in the first 3 games. Yeah, there was a few characters he kind of cared about. Yeah, Pandora he kind of cared about. But he cared about Pandora because Pandora reminded her of his daughter. He cared about a few other characters. But outside of that, I'm sorry, bro. Kratos was like, I get it. Was he justified? He's only justified if you only apply what he did to the Greek gods and not all the people around that probably got murked because of Kratos' action. I'm going to put Kratos in, I get it. But at the same time, bro, a lot of unintended consequences occurred because of Kratos' actions. I'm going to put it in, I get it. Geralt of Rivia. Now, I think I kind of spoiled this one because it's a lot of the same justifications that you do for somebody like Deadpool. However, I would argue Geralt is probably leaning more on the justified side because the fact is, bro, is like, he's a witcher. He's taking money from the highest bidder. He's basically doing his job. He doesn't really care about the realm of man because man doesn't really give a fuck about him. He's just here for the coin and the women. And at the end of the day, bro, I kind of respect that. I do, bro. Bro's just trying to get a bag. He doesn't really care about, like, what happens afterwards until later. And then Geralt just becomes a full-fledged hero. I'm sorry. That is the part that does kind of get me because it's like, brother, Geralt in Witcher 3 is effectively just a superhero. And it gets me because then portraying him as, like, a morally gray character, I'm like, why is he morally gray? Am I crazy? But literally not any time, like, he could do something in his self-interest or help somebody else, he chooses to help somebody else. And I think that's partly because Suri kind of softened him as a character. He kind of brought him out as a dad. But before that, Geralt 100% is on the more morally gray side. But I'm sorry, bro. Like, by Witcher 3, he's effectively just a good guy that cusses sometimes. And that kind of leans into my theory that a large portion that some characters are considered an anti-hero is because they cuss too much for Disney. And boom, you're an anti-hero because we can't market you to children. And that bothers me big time. I'm putting Geralt, he's just justified. Yeah, bro, I mean, like, humanity hates him. Him even helping humanity at all is kind of racist if you think about it. Joel Miller. Okay. Now, Joel Miller's justification, because I think Joel Miller's very justified for what he did with the Fireflies. Now, how would I do it differently? I would have lied. I would have lied so hard. I would have gone to the hospital to tell them that Ellie's dead. That's 100% what I would do. I would, like, if I'm gonna be nice, I would have gone there, I'd been like, sorry, we lost Ellie in the trip. And it's like, what happened? Brother, your Firefly ambush that was meant to take Ellie, okay? They are gone! You fucked up your job! Don't blame this on me! I would have gone straight into it, bro. I would have been going on a Saul Goodman level of gaslighting, dude. I would have been like, me? You think it's my fault? Where were you? I went to you. I met you at the meetup. Where are you guys? Okay, actually, actually speaking, it's completely on you. It's completely on you, okay? I did my job. I was transporting Ellie to the original checkpoint, and you weren't there. Why is that on me? And I'm like, yeah, that's what I would have done. I would 100% have tried to convince them that Ellie was no longer with us. And then I would have just been like trying to raise Ellie as my effective surrogate daughter. Because that's what you have done. Now, that, justified. I'd put him in justified. Now, this is where it's actually going to bring him down or up, depending on what you think. Joel, it is implied very heavily that Joel Miller had to get rid of a lot of innocent people in the 20 years that we don't see from the prologue to when the game starts. And I think when we're looking at that, we're in a John Wick level. I think John Wick, I'll be real here, John Wick level of justified, because it is implied, I gotta keep on spreading it is implied that he had to get rid of a lot of innocent people and innocent families. And I'm sorry here, that's so bad I do kind of have to put you down in too far next to a John Wick. I put Joel Miller and John Wick with similar like archetype level writing because they are bad people that were justified in doing something selfish for themselves. That's how I view these characters. Walter White. I've talked about Walter White a few times on here. Do I think he's as bad as Light Yagami? No. However, this is where I'm be real with you. Do you know what made me feel the most sympathy for Walter White? And this is going to sound pretty effed up. Skylar. Bro, I think part of the reason, and I have a theory on this, I think part of the reason that Walter White is viewed in such a pretty positive light in terms of like, well, was he really that bad? Is because Skylar is just so annoying, dude. She's so annoying. I'm going to be real here, okay? I got Terminal. Okay, Skylar, I ain't spending it with you, bro. Deuces. I'm gone. Okay, that's how I feel about Skylar White, okay? But the truth is, bro, he loses a lot of his justifications within the first couple of episodes because you find out that his Ritz buddy that he does feel wronged by offered to pay for his, not just his cancer treatment, but if he were to go, they are going to take care of his family. And the truth is, dude, I said this back then, I'm going to say it again. If you feel like somebody has wronged you in the past, but you're still going to be by them, you only have a few choices. Either cut them off, don't waste any more time. If he's like a friend of yours, be like, bro, I'm sorry, you fucked me over one too many times, I'm good. Or, if you're going to keep them around and be passive-aggressive towards them, give them a chance to earn back trust. Give them a chance to get redemption. If I'm in Walter White's shoes, oh yeah, bro. You wronged me out of a business deal. You may like, while you view it or not, I feel as though that you robbed me of billions of dollars. I am on my deathbed, and I am asking you as an ex-friend, I want you to help me with my cancer, and I want you, if I were to go, take care of my family. I don't care. You can make this a whole pity thing where you're going to save one of your old business partners. I don't care how it's viewed. I'm going to give you the chance at redemption for me. And if I go, take care of my family. That is what should have been done, and you would have gotten rid of the entirety of Breaking Bad. It's the fact that Walter White didn't choose that makes the story almost, it's unjustified, but he's a good person that did unjustified things, and it turned him into a bad person. Breaking Bad. I put Walter White way too far, but ultimately, I wouldn't say a villain, but on that line, 100% on that line. And there you go. Those are anti-heroes that I believe were and weren't justified, okay? If you enjoyed this video, please consider like, comment, and subscribe. We're trying to get to 250,000 subscribers. 250,000 subscribers before the end of the year. 500,000 subscribers before the release of GTA 6. That is the goal. And if all you gotta do is hit the bell icon, stay notified. I don't know when this is uploading. There's a chance that this is being uploaded while I'm on vacation. So I'm probably over here chilling on like Lake Michigan, just vibing. Say have a good vacation in the comments if you want. You're not gonna miss any uploads though. Most of these are pre-recorded. And with all that out of the way, I hope to see you in the next video. Adios, guys.